All right, so thank you for joining me today. This is a presentation to prepare us for our hybrid learning, which will begin on April 6th. Keep in mind that is a Tuesday. April 5th is the day after spring break, so we will be starting on a Tuesday, and that would only be the first cohort of students that would actually come to the building. So on the, just a moment.
Dr. Kruger?
Yes?
I have Zach at the door here with Aubrey. He said there's a meeting with you.
Oh, the meeting's on Teams, Miss Linda.
Oh.
If he wants to run home and join us.
Okay, I'll tell him.
Thank you. All right. So we have two cohorts. We have the AA cohort and the BB cohort, and then we have our at-home learners. So the AA cohort will come on Mondays and Tuesdays. The BB cohort will stay learning from home on Teams. Everybody stays home on Wednesdays, including myself. That's the deep clean day for the custodial staff, so everyone will learn from home on Wednesdays. And then the BB cohort will come to school on Thursdays and Fridays, and the AA cohort will continue learning from home. And any students who opted to stay at home every day will join into Teams like we've been doing every day, Monday through Friday. Now, there will be changes to the starting and end times for the in-person learners. Whenever it is their turn to be in school, they will start here at school at 8:10. We are keeping the at-home learners starting at 8:30 because the in-school learners need time to have breakfast. So that 20 minutes will be for the in-person learners to have their breakfast. The at-home learners will join us at 8:30, like we've been doing. Dismissal for the in-person learners will be 2:51, and we will continue dismissing the at-home learners at 2:05, like we have been doing. So a little change for when the kids are here at school learning. So a few things about arrival. The kindergarten students will enter the building through my classroom door at 8:10. In years prior, kids would gather in the gym or they would go to the cafeteria for breakfast, but we're coming straight into my classroom door, which I believe all of you know where it is since you would come here for material pickups. So I'll meet you right there at the door at 8:10, and we'll have breakfast in the room available until 8:30. So if your child is a walker, you'll bring them right to the door. We do have an option of being a car rider, and this is something you would have to tell me prior to us starting on Tuesday. If you want to drive your child to work or to school, you would come down Rockland, you would come around the turnaround by the parking lot. There will be staff down at the turnaround. You would just let your child out of the car at the turnaround, and the staff member would direct them and walk them up to the classroom. So if anybody is choosing that option, please let me know at some point, whether it's the end of this meeting or if you send me a message. If your child is a bus rider, the bus will drop them off at the flagpole, which is in the center of the building, and a staff member will walk them straight to our classroom door. So it's pretty similar for dismissal. The students will be dismissed right from my classroom door at 2:51. Again, walkers, you can come right to the door to pick up your child if they're walking. Now, if they're a car rider, they will be picked up from my classroom and brought down to the circle by a staff member. So you would not get out of your car. You would stay in the circle. Everyone just forms a line in their cars and waits their turn to get to the end of the circle, and a staff member would put your child directly into the car for you. And for bus riders, a staff member will pick the bus riders up from our classroom and walk them to the bus. And as most of you know, we have a lot of support staff for us with Miss Felton, Miss Alshafetti, Miss Burley, Miss Feldman, and Miss Botero. We're still trying to figure out the best way to handle teaching in-person kids and online kids and giving them the best instruction possible. So just be cognizant that any of these support teachers can and may lead a lesson online or in the classroom, just to help us provide that small group learning in the hybrid model. Now for lunch and recess, the students will eat in the cafeteria, spaced 6 feet apart at the tables. Right now, with the way students are coming back, kindergarten is the only grade where all of the students are coming back in a hybrid model. So there's not going to be many other students yet in the building, so they are able to space us out in the cafeteria. We are providing a mask lanyard, which I've been wearing. We have one for each student, so whenever they're taking a mask break, we don't have to worry about them misplacing it or dropping it or losing it. It'll just hang around their neck for them while they're eating and drinking. So just so you know, we're giving them those. Lunch is free for everyone. If you want to pack a lunch, you may do that as well. They would just carry the lunch up with them when we go to lunch, and there would be a basket they'll put it in before they go to recess. The students will be able to go to the park at the top of the hill, Alton Park, whenever the weather permits. If recess has to be inside due to weather, they will be split into in between different classroom spaces in the cafeteria and provided with individual materials they can use for play. Now, as far as classroom expectations for learning in the classroom and learning at home, I'll start with learning in the classroom. We ask that the kids keep their masks on unless they're taking a drink or eating a snack. Every child will have an individual table, so we ask them to stay at their tables unless I ask them to go to another spot in the room. Raising their hand to speak and just to continue to work hard. And as far as learning at home, most of you are doing an amazing job. Your kids are doing awesome. Some kids are starting to kind of turn their cameras off, and I'm not sure if they're there or learning, so please just reiterate to your kids that they need to keep their camera on, stay muted unless I ask them to unmute, and just to continue taking responsibility for their learning time and complete whatever work is expected or asked of them. And it's always best to just keep those at-home materials in one place so you can easily access them. I don't think this pertains to anybody that's with me right now, but there were some schedule changes for the ESL students. Some students that were seeing Ms. Botero will now see Ms. Feldman and vice versa, but I don't think I need to go into detail about that slide. Ms. Botero will handle that. Okay, this is a pretty important one. This is the materials that we would need your child to bring every day from home. So a book bag, of course, a mask that they come wearing, and if they could have an extra mask in their book bag if we ever have a need for it, if something spills or gets wet or dirty. I also have extra masks here. If possible, a little individual hand sanitizer would be great. We are asking them to bring their iPad and their charger every day. The plan is for them to not really be on the iPads very much when they're here with me, but if we need to do coding with Miss Capo, or if we're doing some sort of small group activity, and I would need them on their iPad, we ask you to bring it every day. We are providing them with a waterproof bag that they can travel back and forth with their iPad and charger with, so they'll get this the first day they're with me. And if they could just bring their iPad back in that every day, that would be great. The district is also providing every child with a water bottle. Not quite sure how we want to handle this. If you're comfortable them leaving it here for the 2 days that they're hybrid and then taking it on Wednesday or taking it over the weekend to clean, it's however you feel best handling that. And you also don't have to use this water bottle. If you have your own water bottle or you want to send throwaway water bottles, but the water fountains are not really in use. So if you want your child to have some water throughout the day, please provide it. You can send a little snack with them. We will take a mask break and a snack break at some point during the day. And if possible, if you could get a plastic pencil box from the dollar store. The plan is for them when they travel to art, library, music, any of those special classes, if they need a pencil or crayons or markers or watercolors, we're going to have them travel to their special classes with that pencil box full of supplies. You don't need to put supplies in there. I have the supplies. We just need plastic pencil box. That would be awesome. And donations are always appreciated, if possible, for the classroom: Clorox wipes, tissues, Ziploc bags, or paper towels. I have made new workbook pages for everybody. And what I did was I made 2 sets, so they don't have to travel back and forth with any of their workbook pages. They will have an at-home folder, and they will have an in-school folder with the same exact materials in them. So when they come to me on their first hybrid day, you'll get a folder that you can then keep at home. So whether they're working at home or working at school, everybody will have the same materials. And for my friends that are staying fully remote, I will deliver those new pages to you tomorrow on my way home from school before the break. All right, next, a little information about sick days. If your child is experiencing any of the symptoms, fever, headache, runny nose, cough, stomach ache, diarrhea, please keep them home. If they're well enough and feel up to it, they can just join us on the Teams meeting and they can continue with their work if they're not feeling well. They won't be marked absent if that's the case. So if it's their day to be in school and you keep them home because they're not feeling well, that is totally okay. The district does have a link here, so when I send you the link to this presentation, it's a daily symptom tool, kind of a checklist to make sure your child isn't feeling any of the certain symptoms. Now, if your child would come to school and present symptoms of sickness, the district has the following procedures in place here at school. So I would contact the nurse. Her name is Nurse Jazz, and she has a COVID reporting form that she would fill out, and we would have a CARES room, which is like an isolation space that we would have the child wait in. We would make contact for arrangement for them to be picked up, and we'd have to do contact tracing if that child was in contact with anyone else. The school would have to notify people of that for any possible exposures in any places, and then you'd have to follow up with whatever the quarantining rules are. So we really just ask, if I go back to this slide, if your child is showing any of these symptoms, please just keep them home until they're feeling better. And just a reminder about communication. I think we do an awesome job here in room 12. Clear and open communication really is what makes this successful for all of us. And again, the whole school is communicating with Class Dojo, all the special subjects teachers as well as myself. We have almost all of our parents on the dojo, but it would be awesome if I could have everyone that I don't have to communicate to several different places. So if anyone needs the invite again, just let me know. And we ask, please just try to check the dojo at least once a day to see any information from me as well as other teachers. And just a few things to be thinking about as we head into spring break and get ready for this change. If you feel like you need to change a bedtime or a wake-up time to get them used to that 8:10 start, it's nice to ease in over the spring break with that. Try to get that book bag set and ready. Talk to your kids about how when they're in school, it is going to feel like a longer day because they won't have as many breaks as we give them when we're learning from home. And I know we're all excited to get this started and to get our kids here, but just anticipate that even though they may seem excited, they might show some emotions about the change to their routine and possibly being away from you. So just keep that in mind as you prepare in the coming week for this change, and just support them and let them know that even though they might not be home with you, you will be ready and waiting for them when they get home. And also we are all in this together, and I really cannot thank you enough for all of the support you've shown to this point. And I just ask for your continued support, patience, and understanding as we yet again start a new type of learning. So that's my presentation. The last part would be any questions that anybody has. I am going to keep recording as you ask questions if you have any, just so the people who are not here, maybe you're going to ask the same question that they might have. So if anybody has a question, if you want to use the little hand raising tool. And this is the water bottle that every child will get. The at-home learners will get these too. Everyone's getting a Pittsburgh Public Schools water bottle. This is the waterproof bag for the iPads. It zips across the top, so we'll keep their charger and iPad in there. And Their lanyard for their masks is a bunch of different colors with clips at the bottom. Miss Tedesco, do you have a question?
Yes. I was wondering, is it optional for them to come at 8:30 and skip breakfast?
Yes, I don't have a problem with that at all. Yeah, that would be fine.
Exactly.
So if anyone didn't hear her, she said if they're not going to eat breakfast and if they want to come at 8:30, I'm okay with that. Hi, Zach. I'm recording this for you, so you can watch it later, if depending on what you guys missed. Any other questions, or are we feeling good? Everybody feeling good? I'm excited to see them. I really am.
Hey, Miss Kruger, I don't know if you could see my hand. I'm bent over here trying to kiss my
Yeah,
kid.
I can see him.
He'll be a car rider because I'll drop him off in the morning and my dad is
Okay.
going to pick him up in the afternoon.
Perfect. Thank you. You got it. Olive's mom. Hi.
Hi. I just had a question. You know, I think we're still a little bit on the fence about returning to school. We decided not to
Yes.
at this point. But will there be other options? Will there be options down the road to be able to join in person?
I actually had this conversation with another parent yesterday too, and I have to talk to Miss Rushford, the principal. I know that all of the cohorts were kind of finalized, but who's to say that won't change? So I will reach out and talk to her and let you know for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
You got it. Miss Monique, did you have a question?
Yeah, so again, I think we had the conversation, me and you, yesterday. If there were opportunities for my daughter to go back to school, what would be your plan if a child tests positive for COVID while they were in class?
Yeah, that is where the nurse would step in, and the nurse would follow that district protocol of contact tracing. That is not something that I would handle. That is something the nurse would handle.
Okay.
And again, I'll reach out to Miss Rushford and I will get back to both of you about inquiring about changing to hybrid at some point. All right, if nobody else has any questions, I'm all done. Oh, Gigi's mom, Miss Moore.
Hi, it's unrelated to this.
Yes.
But I have friends and stuff that work within the Pittsburgh Public Schools.
Yes.
And one of the teachers had told me that they're going to be changing all the students' email addresses and passwords, and we're going to have to teach them how to log into everything, and you cannot help them. Is that true?
Here's how I understood that information. I understood that you would have the option of changing their password if you wanted it to be more secure for your child. But I think if you leave it alone, I was under the impression that it would stay the same.
Okay, because like they're kindergartners, I can imagine her having to log in
Exactly.
those applications every day.
And that's where, you know, the one doesn't fit all, right? I understand if a high school student wants to have ownership over their password, but in kindergarten, we kind of all need it to be super easy for us to get in.
Okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't mandatory.
No, I took it to believe that it was an option if you wanted to change it.
Okay, thank you.
You got it. All right, are we good, everybody? Oh, Miss Tedesco?
I have another question. For the in-person learning days, is there an option for them to stay home, even if they're not sick, and do online?
That I have to check on, because that becomes an issue where parents are like, oh, I don't feel like bringing them today.
Yeah.
And then they just end up at home all the time, and that is not really the goal of this model. So I do think that would be highly frowned upon for them to stay home if they weren't under the weather.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You got it. All right, and as you know, I'm always reachable anytime you need me. Oh, Miss Jackson.
I just want, what's the setup in the class? Are their desks just separated or they have dividers?
Okay, let me see if I can spotlight myself, and I'll show you what I have so far.
Because you know I got to prepare Ben. because he's extra. Come here, sir.
Each child has their own table.
See what the classroom looks like?
It's not fully finished yet, but every child will have their own table.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we have flexible seating options. That was something we put in place last year, so they can have a wobble chair or a regular chair. Like every kid will have that option. And they'll have their own bin where we'll keep all their materials and they'll just carry it to the table with them. And we're also going to have their own sort of play bin with Legos and Play-Doh and other materials for when it's time for that stuff too.
All right, thanks.
You got it. All right, we good? Anybody else?
There's a lot of hands up.
I see them, but I feel like I think I got to those friends. Miss Moore, did you have another question, or are you good?
Well, actually, I do. It's about the transportation.
Yes.
So, no, it's not what I have messaged you, something else.
Okay.
So for the kids that do take the trolley and stuff, I know that they have limits on how many people can be on a trolley.
Yes.
So let's say, because the trolley can pass you up, are they going to be held tardy if we get passed up and we come minutes late or something?
No.
Okay, and I could just bring her to the classroom door.
Yep, just knock on the door. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, I'm not speaking for all teachers, but I'm speaking for me. All good. Knock when you're here and I'll let her in. Okay? All right. Miss Monique, are you good? That hand is still up over there.
Oh, yeah, I took it down.
Okay. It's probably a delay. You know how that works. All right. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. Let me know if you have any other questions. I am just going to put up the independent work list for right now until music class. So if the kids could come back at 1:25 for music, that would be awesome. All right. Thank you so much.